I am the CFO for Spencer's Retail and Nature's Basket. This is a company which is essentially into retail, hypermarkets, supermarkets. Nature's Basket is a gourmet retail chain. It's a listed company. I've been in this job for the last couple of years as a chartered accountant. Now it's my 21 plus years. I've been in a variety of jobs, worked in FMCG, QSR, now retail. So that's been my journey. Businesses have to reimagine themselves in today's digital age, right? To meet the changing market requirements, changing business requirements. And they have to therefore adopt all these newer digital technologies to transform themselves and drastically, enhance their processes at the back end or their customer experiences. And that's essentially the whole thing about digital transformation. It's about transforming how you work and what you do to create value for your business in the current digital era. So, so to me, let me just explain by saying it is not about, or it's not about just adopting things which are digital or things that are, currently in vogue. Because to me, digitizing is done to stay in the game, right? You have to keep doing it anyways. When you add the word transformation, you call it as a digital transformation, then basically you're trying to take advantage of the technology to move forward and to take advantage to build value for your business and deliver a differentiated capability or differentiated efficiency for your business. So, I was always very, very, I used to enjoy being part of technology from a very early on. So that is one. Personally, there used to be an inclination. Having said that, 2014 till today, there is so much of new things that have happened. So to give you an example, I hadn't thought of bots, for example, in 2014. Today, it's a routine. Every CFO is implementing. We have, I would have put RPAs in multiple different, activities within my own team. Whether it is collection reconciliations or tax, GSTR1 versus GSTR2 reco, or bank records, all of this is being done by bots. So the technology, the appreciation of technology has been growing, is what I would say, day by day. And you have to always keep on top of what's coming new all the time, because guess what? I was in a forum last week, last week, speaking on something, and then the moderator asks me, what's your experience been with the process management tools? And I said, okay, I haven't used that one. So then, he mentioned a few, and then I went Google and I realized, okay, there are a few. So now I'm kind of looking to attend another panel where I can at least hear and learn about those. So that's been, it's just growing exponentially, frankly. I think I learn from all, from day to day, frankly, right? Whether it is your own IT team coming and bringing you a proposal and telling you multitude of things and options, or there is a conference that you're attending, or it is typical emailers coming to you, and they come, in hundreds, right? So you just keep an open mind and just keep going through what's happening, and that's the way you stay connected. I'd like to keep learning new things. So when I'm going to a seminar or a conference, and I usually, I always go to speak, and when I'm speaking, I make it a point to, attend a few sessions before or after, and that's my opportunity to learn, because there is some other topic somebody else is speaking, and you just look at the agenda and say, "Acha, chalo, main 2 ghante extra baith jaunga," right? That's how you do it. So it's not just learning on the go, but it is making a conscious attempt to find those opportunities as and when they come. When my IT head comes to me with certain proposal, I make it a point to have a good conversation with him about the technology and the options, and try and understand. that's how it works. You just don't want any threat to your data or to the operations of the company. I mean, one hears a lot of things, right? A large software player just sponsors a security threat, and all of those anecdotes go in, right? So, many attackers do it for fun. I know instances where, there have been DDoS attacks, and, suddenly there's so much of traffic on your server that this kind of goes down. Or some people do it to gain access of data, some do it for ransom. In my previous, I won't name, but previous organization, there was a ransomware attack. There was, these days, last couple of weeks, you'd see in my own industry, there is a lot of news about big basket consumer data getting stolen, and that kind of, you get really, really worried, because companies invest a lot of money behind acquiring customers. So much of marketing money goes in, so much of effort goes in, and guess what? Somebody, just pulls it out, right? So that's very, very worrying. So, I mean, to me, to secure yourself as a CFO, I think you can use Big Four, or if depending on what your organization can afford. But there are these audits that can happen. Security audits happen. Annual audits are done, and they bring some open points. You have to make sure that you follow through, and that's done. Many times, your critical ERP applications like SAP, etc., they are inside facing. You don't really expose them to cloud web, right? So again, for these reasons, right? You make sure that there are, you have all of those tools, and you have basic systems of hardware control, and people are not accessing things here and there. All that is done. So like I said, it makes me worried, right? Because there are so many instances, like I shared, of various kinds that one has seen around happening, and one would want your IT head to give that comfort that all of these things, whether a software control or hardware control, is in place. As well as, I think one big comfort that I get is I always get a cybersecurity audit done, and get a report out to make sure and follow through to get a compliance. So those are the things that we do all the time. So your saving, the amount of saving that you get is a function of your scale, right? So if you have a scale of billions, of course you can save millions very easily, to be frank, right? So that can always happen. Let me give you some examples of very, very day-to-day things. And I work for a retail company, and how the technology gives you a lot of savings and an advantage, right? So earlier, all the billing used to happen on POS terminals. Now they happen to handheld terminals, which means you are able to manage your checkout space, and therefore all your payments are digital, which means number of cashiers can be lower, and therefore you have a saving. Or when you are benchmarking your price, the price updates can happen better, and you can save on margin that you're earning. Or you have a document management system, and you use OCR technology, and all document process that works through scanners, so you have less paper. Your petty cash, these days, these are apps where people take their photos and they upload. Workflow management, approvals happen online. You save on paper, you save on courier cost. So to your customers, instead of a paper bill, you give the digital bill, you SMS it out to them, you save. Now in retail, what happens is that each of these chota that I was speaking of, each saving is very small per store, but it has a massive multiplier space, very big multiplier effect, right? And it happens in all our, even FMCG too, it works similarly, right? So every little multiplied by, if I have 200 outlets, you multiply each saving by 200, and you realize how big it can get. So returns look lucrative of technology on a bigger scale, is the point I'm making, right? I mean, I have so many examples from real life, right? So payment gateways, right? So EDC machine is not required now. You cashiers carry, delivery guys carry their mobile where there is a QR code. People pay through, Paytm, GPay. You're saving, every EDC machine that people used to carry, there is a rental to that. you're avoiding that, or you're with the availability of data, all your credits are happening T+2 versus T+1. You're saving money. So so the savings through technology are massive all across, helping people become more and more efficient. And this is all direct ones that I'm talking about, right? Indirectly, I mean, like I was giving you an example of bots, right? One bot not only saves you headcount, right, in repetitive transactions like cash reconciliation, bank reconciliation, or whatever tax reconciliation that I was talking about. But what's also powerful about those is that they can typically hire 5-6 times more volume later without adding and investing a single rupee, right? Because the bot will probably, a thing that you were taking half a day to you, bot does in 10 minutes. But guess what? If your volumes become 3 times, the 10 minutes will become 11 minutes. It won't become, 1 hour. So, it makes it highly scalable, and therefore, as you scale up, it gives you massive economies, right? So I hope you have enough examples. Sure. So look. So when you talk of understanding these technical words, or when you talk about the digitization opportunities, and we mistake it by understanding the tools that are available and the terms that are available. Frankly, to me, there are enough people available who can translate that jargons to us in business language, and frankly, as you go along a project, you learn the jargon. IT team has reported to me in the earlier jobs, in my previous roles. Over here, I work very, very closely with the IT team. Now, to me, this, like I just said, this is all about learning how to use the tools according to your business needs. And CFOs have an advantage because you have an understanding of how the business works, and everything in business is all about money, right? And you have the relationships to keep doing it, because or implementing all of these tools, because you are connected with the most of the organization. So all you need is a nose to understand what the technology stands for and how it is used. And you have to have a little bit of perseverance to sit through those discussions when experts are giving all of these pros and cons. So just listen to them, and that is good, because you being able to discern what is good for you and what is not is all that is required, not the jargon. And that comes from understanding business, and you being in finance, being able to understand how the money is gone, how it is spent, what the business priorities are, and that's it. I mean, otherwise, with a little bit of understanding of technology, you are all set to drive technological transformation, because like I said, there will be experts who will be helping you out anyways. While there is no such expectation of you coming up with a new thing all the time, obviously not. But there is indeed an expectation whenever it comes to things which are to do with backend, right? It usually tends to fall in CFO's lap, right? So you're not looking after supply chain, but you would be expected to be part of a project which has got to do with supply chain. If you are not necessarily part of human resources, but if there is something that's happening around a software system that's getting designed, you will be expected to be part of it. That's usually a given. Now, as far as the front end is concerned, when you're talking about things that deal with your consumers, I think the expectation there is you should be able to understand it. And many times there are CFOs who, when they have that kind of ability to help or partner or support or those kind of initiatives, they do. But I would say it's not something that most of the organizations would really expect out of their CFOs. So that's usually the kind of difference I've seen. So no pressure, but at least on the front end side of things, they would usually want you to be involved, because same reason, right? Because I think CFOs understand different functions very well, because they have to, everything is to do with money, and you're sitting in our meetings for that precise reasons. In my organization, I would always find that the CEO looks at you the moment it comes to monetary implication, the CEO is looking towards you. You say, you just nod your head and he's good to go, then he will take over, right? If you say, 1 minute ruk jaiye, then it's done, right? Then the command is with you. Automation is coming, and it is coming in the form of artificial intelligence or all the knowledge work, work that is more mental than manual, and therefore that is all now going to machines, which means that very different skills are required. I mean, it's not theoretical; it's happening every day. And what is AI, right? AI is basically, it's a notch above analysis. I'm just putting it simply, right? It's a host of statistical analysis that come up with some intelligent information, right? So what are you trying to do? You need to know. I mean, the information that AI gives you is like, people who bought this, they also bought this. People who saw this, they also saw this. You can mine all that customers' behaviors and analyze, train, and deep dive. That's required because you have to stay competitive. Guess what? Your competition is doing it, right? So that's how it becomes imperative, right? So each time a consumer company like ours is doing a promotion or a price off or a discounting, there has to be a intelligence behind it. What has happened to it, when you ran something similar prior, right? Or machine learning, right? So sourcing is required to have ML, because you have to learn from the past selling patterns. The machine has to learn, because we buy in massive quantities, and it has to fine tune the sourcing depending on what was happening. So, and that's machine learning. The system itself adapts from what's happened before and keeps fine tuning its plan. That's it. So my take is exactly this. The challenge, of course, is it requires a large amount of data. And that's where CFO's problem is, because that's where the investments go, because those are the founding blocks. Because we are not ready many times, right? You have to ensure that the whole information within the company pools into a unified database, because either ML or AI, all of it requires a lot of data for you to work with, and that's the founding block, and that's the work. In order to adapt and in order to be ready, most organizations have to keep investing in and make sure that their IT is ready for that. So for our discussion today, I think it's very important that people understand technology, keep track of it, and for just two reasons. One is to have the right training and to be able to have the skills to leverage technology. That's one. But second, the point that we were discussing earlier, to be able to use to be able to decide, right, what tool to use itself, you need to know and appreciate technology. So that's the given. Number two, I think younger people, 10 years from now, I clearly see that the roles are going to evolve far more into storytelling roles, where the insight and are able to drive decisions. Because guess what? More and more of repetitive things are being taken over by technology. So they have to be far more integrated with business. So one was appreciate technology. Number two, they have to get far more integrated with business.